Welcome. Thank you for joining us for this edition of the Weekly Business Hour. This is Rick Schisler, your Silver Fox advisor and host of the Weekly Business Hour. We have a great show lined up for you today, and I'm glad you joined us because we'll start first with a thought for the week. I've been thinking. And then a quick check-in with Dick on the business of Lone Star. And I'm pleased to say that Todd Goodwin of Pillar to Post will join us in the studio to talk about his unique business and his background that brought him to this business. And to close out the show, my Silver Fox Advisor tip of the week will consider, what is your business offer? So sit back, get ready, pull out your pen and pad, and let's get started on today's show. First of all, let me remind you that if you have a question or an idea or just want to make a comment during the show or at any time after the show, please email me. My email address is rick@irlonestar.com. Well, a thought for the week. I've been thinking. You know, we all think, there's no doubt about it. Some of us more than other. But when you think, is it a good thing or a bad thing? And I'm specifically talking about your business. When you think about your business, are you thinking good things, bad things? Are you worried about things that might happen? Catastrophes. You know, we've had some flooding recently, some bad weather, damage from winds. Are you too concerned about the what ifs? Or maybe you're not concerned enough. The main thing I believe is that you need to think about your business as a whole. And I find many small business people who spend little, if any, time thinking about their business as a whole. And what exactly do I mean? I'm talking about sitting back, standing back, taking some time off from the day-to-day business and the other things that are in your life and thinking about your business, where it's at, where it's going. What is it that you really want to do with your business? Even if you have a business plan, one of my famous one-page business plans, you need to take time to look at that plan. And if you don't have a plan, again, as always, I encourage you to get one. Make up a plan. The key is, though, that you've got to take time on a regular basis, I believe at least monthly, and think about your business as a whole. What's going right? What's going wrong? What can be improved? How can you tweak? If you have employees, you spend a lot of time thinking about them, if you're like me, when I was in business. How I can encourage them, how I could train them, how I could find better people, what it took to get to the next level in the business as far as the type of people that I needed. These are the kind of things that you don't want to be pushed into a situation and have to think right away, make a decision. You want to take time to think about them. Thinking and planning do go together. And again, I encourage you to do regular planning, once a month at least. The most successful business people I know check their plan on a weekly basis, some on a monthly basis, but they're in tune with the plan. But it's not something they fret over and worry over because they know they've thought through their plan. They've put it together, and they know their plan's flexible, and they can adjust it if the situation requires. But the key is they've got guidelines on how to run their business so they don't get off track because the wind blows or the rain comes down or the creek rises. They stay true to their plan. The bottom line, well planned, well executed, will bring the highest and best returns to you, your business, and your family. You're in the right place if you're a business owner, manager, or you're considering starting your own business, because the Weekly Business Hour is where Montgomery County comes to talk about the latest in business news, ideas to improve your business, and to hear from some of our own local business leaders on how they have found success right here in Montgomery County. Let me remind you at this point that we have a Facebook page, the Weekly Business Hour. I encourage you, go to the page and like us. That way you'll be the first to receive our weekly show postings when they come up within a day or two of our live broadcast. Now, let's check on the business right here at Lone Star. Dick, what's on tap for Lone Star this coming week?
I want to let your listeners know, since this is the first week of the month, we're going to have a whole slew of shows, including our news show, which will be today following the Weekly Business Hour, East Montgomery County News with Margie Taylor, and she's covering everything happening in East Montgomery County. And then also the second news show of Veterans Air with your local veterans district and also anything that's going on with the veterans here. in the Montgomery County area. That's going to be tomorrow at 1 p.m. And then we're also bringing back District Dynamics with Tim Harkrider, Superintendent of Willis ISD. Their show is back in session, and I'm pretty sure he'll be updating you with all the rain and everything going on at Willis ISD. That's going to be on Wednesday at 11 a.m. So we have a whole new show lineup and also returning shows this week on irlonestar.com.
Well, a lot of great information for those if you live in the Willis area or have children in the ISD. I mean, you've got an opportunity to stay in touch with the news right here on IR Lone Star. And I want to especially congratulate East Montgomery and Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR for bringing the east side of our county more in touch with the community through Lone Star Community Radio. Well, here we are to the best part of the show, in my opinion, and that's our visit with the studio guest. And today, again, I'm so pleased to have Todd Goodwin of Pillar to Post. Todd, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rick. It's great to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you today.
Well, I'm kind of excited to learn because I read your background, your biography that Mackie gave me, and you've got a wonderful background. But before we talk about that and what prepared you to go into this business, tell us what Pillar to Post is, if you would.
Pillar to Post is a home inspection company. We are the number one home inspection company in North America and Canada. We've got, I think, just over 500 franchisees, so we're all individual business owners. We provide home inspection services for all buyers, sellers, investors, real estate professionals. We do new construction inspections and take care of our clients that way in those type of needs.
Well, let me ask you the obvious question, I guess, is what drew you to go into the home inspection business?
Well, what drew me to go in there is before I bought the franchise, I'd spent 13 years as a property adjuster with a major insurance company. And so I'd always deal with claims. And so I thought it would be nice to get on the front end of this. Instead of having these people suffer these losses, maybe I could get in there in the front and direct them how to prevent having claims done and to make sure their homes are safe. I saw a lot of destruction and tragedy in the claim business, and so I felt that might be a good, the home inspection business might be a good way for me to get in front of that and help people prevent those type of problems happening.
You know, I have a particular personal respect for the home inspection business. I've had every home that I've ever bought inspected. Back when there weren't a lot of inspectors, I was blessed to find somebody, and it was always revealing to me, particularly in an existing home, used home, however you phrase that. But, you know, we watch these shows on HGTV where Property Brothers and some others flip or flop, and they buy these homes, and then once they open the walls, it seems like there's always disaster waiting on them. How do you help people in general? Is that really what your goal is, to help them avoid those kind of situations?
Well, absolutely. My goal is to help them. The most important thing for me when I'm doing a home inspection is that home is safe. This is where their family is going to live. This is where their children are and memories are made. So there's always a lot of things that show up on a report that what I refer to as honeydews. Just simple things, maintenance things. But my primary goal when I do a home inspection is to make sure that that home is safe for those occupants.
Right. Well, that obviously would be key. I think a lot of people, particularly since shows like HGTV and whatnot, have become aware of, I call it the complexity of a home.
Yes.
I know you as an adjuster, because I used to work with insurance adjusters in a position I had, and came to appreciate some of them that really understood how things went together and put together. And I don't think the average person really appreciates how complex a home is.
Well, it is complex, and we do the inspection from foundation to roof. We run all the mechanicals, we check all the plumbing, all the electrical, and all these systems do have to work together. And that's one of the challenges in the home inspection business. As technology moves forward, we have to keep apprised of those type of things that are going on, but of making sure those systems are operating properly, and they're expensive. And so you want to make sure that they are operating properly, that this home buyer is not going to have a large expense coming up just when they get done buying the house.
Right. That's interesting. And I've got to ask you this question, though. Part of your bio is you spent some time at NASA.
I did.
Now, is any of that work help you today?
Well, it did pique my interest in mechanicals and things like that. It was just an awesome time. It was a great job. I really enjoyed it. But it did. There were a lot of systems. Obviously, NASA uses a lot of systems. And so I got to participate in some of those. And it did pique my interest in some of the mechanicals and led me to the direction that I went.
You know, you mentioned Pillar to Post as a franchise organization, and from time to time we've had people on the show that did exactly what you did. They bought a franchise, and we've talked about some of the reasons they did it. What drew you to the franchise model, if I can ask?
Well, actually, I got to talking with a real estate friend of mine because we were looking at doing these inspections, and they had brought it up, and so we started doing the research on it. And Pillar to Post has an unbelievable system, support. They are the number one franchise in North America. And so I started visiting with them. I really enjoyed the people in the corporate office, the support, talking to other franchisees, and that really solidified my decision to join Pillar to Post.
So in your opinion, in the franchise route, typically people that have no background or experience, that's one of the routes they go because they get a lot of support and a lot of training. You had the background, in my opinion, as an adjuster. What kind of real support has the franchise given to you?
Well, they give me a lot of support on the business end. I don't have a whole lot of quote-unquote business experience, and so they help guide you in that because it can become overwhelming. They have a national marketing campaign. They help us with our local marketing as well. So I didn't want to go at it just by myself. I wanted that guidance that Pillar to Post provides for us, and they've done a fantastic job, and I couldn't ask anything more of them.
You know, you mentioned marketing. How does a home inspector market themselves?
Well, you get in front of people. It's like any business, you know. I mean, I try to participate and get in front of realtors and their events that they put on and get in front of them and show what makes Pillar to Post different than any other inspection company. But it's a daily process, and I enjoy it. I enjoy getting to meet the realtors in the community and explaining what I do and listening to what they do.
And in a sense, when you're a realtor, and as mentioned earlier, we're in the process of building a home but also selling a home, and the inspector is one of the critical people you deal with. I mean, typically when you sell, obviously it comes from the buyer, but inspectors can be of such a nature that it can really cause a deal to go south. I had that experience once when I was buying a house, and it became a real emotional issue for the sellers and whatnot. How do you avoid, you kind of walk a line, don't you?
You do have to walk a line. And I always try to explain to either the buyers or sellers that, all these issues can be fixed. And it's never anything personal. It's just a condition of the home. So it is a delicate line you have to walk so that the buyer knows what the condition is of the house, but that it can also be repaired, or fixed or replaced or whatever. And that if you really love the house, if you have the information, then you can make the informed decision about it.
Right. Well, and they can be challenging decisions. So you have to be a little bit of a diplomat, in my opinion,
I
as
do.
well.
I do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the first segment of today's show. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk with Todd a little bit more about the inspection business as a business and the things that you do to be successful in his business. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Cindy Cochran, and now Conroe can boast of another first. The first morning live talk show, 10 to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on Lone Star Internet Radio, coming straight out of the fabulous downtown Conroe, Texas. Be the coolest guy at the water cooler, or the most informed break room dweller by listening to the fun side of the news, local, national, infinity, and beyond. The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Heaven's Army of Resources and Recreation Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization featuring a 10,000 square foot building located at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas. At Heaven's Army, we offer over 26 different services free for all ages, from karate, dance, drug and alcohol classes, anger management, parenting, food and clothing pantries, to just name a few. We are supported solely by volunteers and private donations. Our main mission is to glorify God in all that we do. At Heaven's Army, we strive to be a hand up, not a handout. Come check us out at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas, or call for more information at 281-689-5864. You may also learn more about Heaven's Army by visiting our website at heavensarmyofresources.com.
Tailorized PR works exclusively to get your business noticed. Public relations is how others perceive you and your company. By tailorizing the marketing strategy exclusively to your business, your story is told. Tailorized PR services include networking, social media, blogs, press releases, public appearances, and event planning. To learn about Tailorized PR, call Margie Taylor at 936-828-6881 or visit the website at tailorizedpr.com. My business is tailored to yours.
If you are looking to start a career, you can start your professional life in the U.S. Army. I am Staff Sergeant Stephen Jackson. My fellow soldiers and I can talk with you about learning high-tech skills in electronics and computers as a soldier. Interested in the medical field? The Army has skilled medical and dental jobs that set you up for future success. Come visit us at 2109 West Davis Street, directly behind the Whataburger on Highway 105, or give us a call at 936-756-7002.
This is Rick Schisler, your Silver Fox advisor and host of the Weekly Business Hour. I need to remind you that Lone Star Community Radio will also soon be available on FM 104.5 and 106.1 on your radio dial, offering you, our listener, both a tune-in and an internet radio station. Well, let's continue, Todd. We've had, I think, a great discussion in the first segment about the business of being a home inspector and also the connection with a franchise. But in your business, and we kind of talked around this, what is your main goal in servicing or serving your customer?
Well, the main goal, again, is to make sure that the home is safe. But I want the clients to have an experience. I don't want it just to be this is part of the process and it just be a dry cut. The home inspector's coming in. I want them to be involved in it. I want to be able to educate those clients as we go through the house, and that it be a part of their whole real estate experience that they're having. I want to be available to them if they have any questions or any concerns about the house that I can assist them with, whether that's prior to, during the inspection, or after that inspection. So I think Pillar to Post is really trying to do that, make it that brand experience and a positive experience for the home buyer.
You know, one of the things I appreciate from the home inspections I've had in the past, which with one exception were done by the same individual over the years, but was the educational part. Of course, as I told you, I have a little bit of a background in building commercial, but it was curiosity, but it was understanding how this home, with the systems and everything, where they were, what they did. And so when I walked with the inspector, and then in his report, he always added a section that was boilerplate, but it was educational, maintenance checklist, things like this, that got me as a homeowner to really buy into taking care of this property.
Well, and I think that's good. We offer that same thing, a seasonal checklist and that education, especially for first-time home buyers that are coming in. They don't really know how these systems work, and it's typically the most, your major investment that you're going to make. So it's typical of anything. The better you maintain it, the longer it lasts, the better it performs. So if you come in and you have that education and you know the way these systems work, it helps those buyers to maintain that home, to keep it safe, and then to ultimately make it last longer.
And feel more comfortable about what they've done.
And feel more comfortable, absolutely. That peace of mind of having that inspection and that knowledge and education definitely gives them a lot more peace of mind.
You know, that brings up a question I've thought about. Buying a used home, and we were talking about HDTV and whatnot, and it's basically almost mandatory to have an inspection. But what if I'm buying a new home, that it's just been built, I'm the first owner, or even if I had it built? How important is it to have an inspection in that case?
Well, I always think it's important to have an inspection. Of course, I'm a little biased, but I've done a number of new construction inspections before, and everybody has an off day. The electrician or the framer or the plumber or something might be having an off day. So if you can go through these houses when it's done and find that problem. The builders typically do take care of them, but I've found many a problem in new construction homes. I think, again, to get back to your point before, just the peace of mind of having that inspection done, a third party, so to speak, to come in and say, yes, this is all correct and good and safe, and you should feel good about this decision.
You know, even bolster that a little more. My wife and I, the second home we bought, as our family had grown quite large at that point, was by one of the largest home builders in Texas. And when I said that I was going to have a home inspection, I thought the superintendent was going to die. And we found a few things. I mean, they'd done a pretty good job, but still, it was that peace of mind that you mentioned.
Well, it's home builders either love me or hate me. So they either don't want me in there picking apart the work, or they love getting the list and say, we want to get this corrected and done properly and move on down the road.
We had talked about it earlier that you've had a variety of business experiences, which I'm big on experience. It's one of the things I use to sell my services as a mentor. And you've had your work at NASA. You've been, you've gone in and done the adjusting side of the insurance business, gave you a lot of exposure to homes. But, you've had those great experiences. If I came to you as someone who was interested in getting into business, start my own business, not necessarily the home inspection business, but, once you've been in it, you start becoming an expert in business as well. What advice would you give me if I was seeking to go into business?
Be prepared to work every day. And we were talking during the break and how I was enjoyed your thought of the day about you need to set aside the time, too, when you get into the business to work on your business and not in your business. It really helps to clear the air. Have those goals somewhere in your office or wherever you're doing your work, that you see them every single day so you know what you're working for. It's very easy to get caught up just in the business. If you have to have that goal and work towards that goal, and you have to see that goal every day. That would be one of the pieces of advice that I'd get, is write those goals down where you want it to be and read them and look at them every single day.
I think that's some real good advice, and it popped in my head functionally. Being a small business guy, you're in business for yourself. You don't have a big staff, or do have a franchise organization, which offers you a lot of support from a distance.
Yes.
But what do you do? I mean, when you mentioned you take time to work on your business, but you also have the business side. You have reports to write. You have accounting, bookkeeping. You have things to do. Do you set aside a separate time each week to do that, or is that just kind of work its way in when you're free?
Well, for me, I don't have a whole lot of that accounting experience, bookkeeping and stuff like that. So I surround myself with a team that handles those functions for me. I do meet with them on a regular basis. It's the old trust but verify type thing. I do meet with them, but I'm good at home inspections. Right? I'm not good at bookkeeping, anything like that. So I think that's another thing that you take into account is if you don't have those expertise, you either learn them or you find the people that know how to do them and surround yourself with that team that gives you that support as well.
So basically you outsource certain functions in your business. You outsource your bookkeeping. You outsource anything else particularly?
My accounting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So up through the accounting part, the bookkeeping.
Yeah.
And that includes bill paying and whatnot?
I do pay the bills.
Okay. But you let somebody else reconcile everything.
I do.
Yeah, I applaud that. I think, in fact, I have a piece later in this show talking about outsourcing, not trying to do it all yourself. And I agree with you. If there's enough of what you do well in the business, then you need to be doing that, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So, but I do set up times early in the morning where I sit, review my goals, make sure I'm on the track that I need to be on, reconcile those statements and things like that, because you have to have that information as well, because they help you make those goals. But typically for me, it's early in the morning. Everything's quiet, clear the head, focus on what you need to focus on for that day.
One of the things that I find, and we touched on this in a conversation, was things do change fast in the business world today, across industries, to varying degrees. But it seems to me, after being in business for a number of years in different businesses, that things are changing faster for all of us in business. What do you foresee as the biggest challenge in your industry in the next 3 to 5 years in general?
Well, a couple of things. First thing is just keeping up with the technology of home building process and new systems and stuff like that. But more importantly, I think for me is, again, I do home inspections, but I'm really in the people business as well. And so determining how clients want to be served. Is it online? Do you care if I call you beforehand? Do you care if I call you afterwards? So again, getting back to that customer experience, I think that's going to be a challenge as far as dealing with how the clients really want to be served going forward.
You mentioned that how to serve clients, and I think you touched on how to communicate with them. And I've actually seen situations now, even in larger businesses, when you're doing business, they have a question somewhere, some houses, how do you want us to communicate? Email, phone, whatever. They ask you for a preference. And I find that very interesting to do that.
Yeah, well, one of Pillar to Post's selling points, too, is we print our reports typically on site. But especially with millennials and first-time home buyers, they don't want paper or things like that. So they say, no, let's just email it to me. So again, that's given them the choice of how they want to be handled during this process of buying this home. So it's exciting, actually, because I don't have a whole lot of that technology experience, so I learn a lot too from my clients as well. So, but I think ultimately in the 3 to 5 years, it's going to be more about that customer experience and how they want to be handled during that process.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's all about communication. Really,
Absolutely.
At the end of the day. Well, Todd, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. I really appreciate your insight, not only on home inspections, but on business, and the willingness to step out and become a successful business person right here in Montgomery County. If people would like to learn more about what you do or have a question about home inspection, what's the best way for them to contact you?
They can either call me on my office number, that's 281-628-4418. They can email me at todd.goodwin@pillartopost.com, or they could go to my website, which is www.pillartopost.com/Todd Goodwin.
Well, you got 3 great ways for people to reach out. And I encourage you, if you're listening, you got a question about your home, need a home inspection, buying or selling, to reach out to Todd. And again, thank you very much for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, I've got some business thoughts that I hope you can use in your business. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you planning on growing, expanding, or possibly selling your business? All of these business opportunities require developing strategies and setting goals in order to achieve success. Providing specialized consulting in these and other key business decisions is what Silver Fox Advisors have been doing since 1986. Let us help you today. Call us at 713-343-3718. It might be the most profitable call that you ever make.
Veterans, tune in May 3rd at 1 p.m. here on your Lone Star Community Radio for Veterans Air, the Veterans Hour, the only local news, talk, and commentary show for veterans and their families, hosted by Douglas B., U.S. Army veteran and advocate. This month, we'll be spotlighting the veterans of foreign wars, and in the studio, we'll have District Commander Gary Bridges and the local post commander, John Tellier. Visit www.veteransair.us for more information.
Running a business is hard. Pressure to maximize profits and minimize loss continue to grow. Schooley Mitchell of Houston can help. Their independent consultants will ensure you are receiving the best communications and credit card processing services at the best prices. Most importantly, their services are completely risk-free. If they don't find savings for you, there is no fee. Contact Schooley Mitchell of Houston today to find out. Call 832-314-1815 or visit their website at schooleymitchell.com/JM Polio.
Doing business since 1985, Assistance League of Montgomery County is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization where all proceeds stay in Montgomery County. We are proud to sponsor 10 philanthropic programs that enhance the lives of those in our community. Visit our thrift shop at 126 North San Jacinto Street in downtown Conroe or call us at 936-760-1151. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
You are listening to the Weekly Business Hour, and this is Rick Schisler, your Silver Fox advisor and host for the Weekly Business Hour. Well, we just finished, I think, a great interview with Todd Goodwin of Pillar to Post, a small business person who had worked for other companies and decided to step out on his own, go into business for himself, and has developed what appears to be a very successful business, Pillar to Post, doing home inspections. This part of the show, I'd like to take a little bit of time and talk about a couple of thoughts that you might use in your business today. My first thought, I came across this several weeks ago, and it's an old idea, but it's one that's, in my opinion, very worthy of mentioning again, and probably again sometime again in the future. And that's the question, are you hurting your business by doing too much? You know, as small business people, and I've been a small business person more than once or twice, we start businesses or we buy businesses and we work to grow those businesses to a certain point based on what our plan and strategy is. And a lot of times we find ourselves, and even Todd touched on this, we multitask. And some of those tasks are areas that either we don't have a background or any kind of expertise, or as Todd admitted on the radio, he just really doesn't like doing the bookkeeping, so he outsources it. But many times because of cost, or sometimes I've even found that we just feel compelled. It's kind of part of being an entrepreneur or someone who starts a new business. We've got to go through this stress and this struggle. It kind of reminds me of the old starving artist story. We feel like we've got to do it all until we get to the point that we can hire someone. But one of the big things that's happened, particularly in the last 5 to 10 years, is outsourcing. I mean, it's always been there, but it's talked about a lot more, and there are a lot of businesses, particularly in bookkeeping here in Montgomery County. A lot of wonderful companies are available to take over the bookkeeping process for you, and in other areas, advertising, public relations. There's a lot of areas, marketing, people that can step in and work right side by side with you in developing certain parts of your business. Expertise. Again, people, though, seem to feel, well, it's money. I don't have the money. I'm starting out. I'm the starving artist. I need to struggle some. I need to do it myself so I understand it. But my encouragement is don't sell yourself short, and most importantly, don't sell your business short. You know, multitasking really fails to help when you try to do it all, and because ultimately one thing is it makes you less effective. And eventually, if you're really honest with yourself, you'll see that it wastes time and money because we get bogged down doing things we're not good at. They take longer. Inaccuracies, failures occur. And so really you're spending more money. And I understand that cash is king, particularly cash flow in a new business is very important. But if you step back just for a moment, many times you'll see that you're actually spending or losing money that you really can ill afford to lose by trying to multitask and do things. So it's very important to take tasks that you dislike or that you're unhappy, don't want to do them. Find somebody, find a quality individual to do them. When you're too busy doing those tasks and the obvious, you don't have the energy or the availability to give to your customers. The number one thing in a business is customers, clients. And if you're busy doing other things, your energy, you burn the midnight oil. You don't have time for these people. You don't have time for the most important part of your business, and that's your customers. And that's what happens. And the other thing is that I want to mention is when you hire others to take on tasks that you don't even like or ones that you're not even particularly good at, you need to give them a chance to do the task. Don't keep pulling back. Don't keep looking over their shoulder. Give them a chance to do the job that you hired them for, whether they be outsourced or they be an employee. First thing to do, I think, when you start a business and you're by yourself, particularly if you're in a business like I am where I do mentoring, advising, consulting, is one of the things you can do is hire a virtual assistant. I mean, this is the kind of range of people that are available out there. There's services available online that can assist you with day-to-day operations, answering your phone. You don't need a live person, but you can feel more comfortable. I would encourage you to look at some of those kinds of services as a place to start from day one. You can find experts, as I touched on earlier, all throughout our community. We have great support people, bookkeeping. We have great small business attorneys, accountants, CPAs. these kind of people in Montgomery County are not in a short supply, and they, in the long run, will save you money other than doing it yourself. So you need to connect through your network of contacts, people you work with, people that you network with on the marketing side of your business. Find a good business attorney, find a good business accountant, bookkeeper, CPA, and make them an integral part of your business. Take that load off yourself. Do some planning with them so that you don't end up in a dead end, and all the good work that you've done and where you've taken your business is not at risk because you insisted on being a multitasker and doing your work yourself. One final area I'd like to mention that a lot of us sort of hesitate to use, and that's online marketing services. Now, granted, in the Montgomery County area, I've met several people that do marketing, several people that do PR. Margie Taylor, Taylorized PR, will be on with the East Montgomery show right after this one. They can offer you excellent PR services. They're focused on small businesses. You can find those people, and it's worth the investment to let them carry that part of your business. But there are even online marketing companies that have figured out how to serve people long distance and are worth the investigation and potentially an investment by you to handle your marketing so that you're not stuck there on a Saturday night trying to figure out, how do I market my business? I'm not getting enough clients or customers. The phone's not ringing. So what do I do? But they're local people and they're online people. My point in this, there's lots of resources out there. I encourage you to use them instead of yourself to help you build a successful business for yourself, for your family, and generations to come. Next area I'd like to talk about a little bit is about customer experience and trust. Last month I started going through an article that I had read that really had struck me that was written by John Janisch, who's a small business consultant expert. He's written a series of books, started with duct tape marketing. I've followed John. I've read his books. I get his online newsletter every week, and it's always got at least one helpful tip, particularly in the area of marketing. And he wrote an article that broke down the components, if you will, about the customer experience, customer service. I've touched on two of those components. He entitled one, the know, the people are aware of your business, and then the like. This is the stage where people begin to like your business. Well, today I'd like to take a few minutes and talk about the trust, the third step that John believes we go through. And this one is trust. I mean, the bottom line is, remember, no one buys from a company they do not trust. And it's never been easier to learn who is trustworthy and who is not. I mean, the internet, the web have really opened up our ability to investigate a company to try to verify as much as possible that we're doing business with a company. We're buying products and services from people that we can trust, that will do what they say they're going to do. There are a number of other areas where you can build trust for your business. And I'm going to kind of go through this list, touch on a couple of them with some detail, but otherwise just mention them. I mean, first of all, SEO. Okay, you say search engine optimization. How in the hell does that make me trustworthy? Well, the bottom of the line is that if you're further up in the search engine rankings, you're on the first page versus the 10th page, somehow people believe they can trust you. There's an element of the trust factor that comes into play by working on your SEO. And if you're not in those top of the pack, so to speak, if you're not there, then people don't trust you as much. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that's a fact. Reputation, obviously. We all should understand what reputation is. That means you've got to proactively manage your reputation, both online, which can be a challenge, and offline, which is what we're used to most likely in our day-to-day business. Referrals. You build trust up. I mean, let's face it, a referral can be the ultimate trust signal if you treat it that way. When someone refers someone to your business, that means someone else trusted you to refer someone most likely who's doing business with them. They're trusting you to handle that particular prospect in the right manner. Demonstrations. You know, how many times in our lives have we seen demonstrations? And I'm talking about product demonstrations or service demonstration, where you're at some type of exhibit, some type of convention, in some public environment, and someone's demonstrating something. It's not that we're showing you how it works. That's not the main point. The point is we're trying to show you that it can work for you. We're trying to gain your trust. Influence, another one. You need to work on building your influence with people. This gets down to creating an aura of expertise, that you're the expert in the plumbing business, the electrical business, the home inspection business. Success stories. They need to be told. They need to be posted on your website. You need to get people to tell you why they use you, and particularly those stories where people were really in a jam, if you will, in trouble, really needed a product or service that you offered, and when they got it, it made a difference. Public relations, I touched on that earlier, like Taylorized PR or Wicked Publicity. These companies can help get your story out there, and to me, they're one of the most cost-effective ways to advertise. Obviously, consistency is important in building trust, that you consistently do what you say you're going to do it when you say you're going to do it, and follow up. More events. Get out there, meet people, be around people. Do a webinar if you're in a business that lends itself to that type of deal. The point is, get your name out there, get people to know you, who you want to do business with, connecting with those people, being sure that they have access to learn more about you, either through your website, your printed materials, whatever kind of information sources are available to you. And, of course, content. You've got to make sure you've got good content, and your content talks about trust. Because once people read and understand who you are, then the relationship enters a new phase, and you've built that trust. Now they like you, they know you, and now they're beginning to trust you. And, of course, that takes you to the final step, and that's the sales process. And the idea is, what can you do to blow that prospect away and to encourage them to buy your product or use your service? So think about it today. I hope this has been helpful to you. Look to build trust in your business and do the little things that all add up to more success for you and your business. We're going to take a break now, and when we come back, I'm going to offer you a little insight with my Silver Fox tip of the week. So please stay with us, and we'll be right back.
I'm Lieutenant Bob Berry with the Conroe Police Department, reminding you that drinking and driving do not mix. Drinking and driving causes an alcohol-related fatality every hour in the United States. Stay sober and stay alive.
Are you paying too much for your personal or business insurance? Patricia Cooper Insurance on FM 1488 and Tamina Road is an independent agency that can shop multiple carriers to find the best rates and coverages to fit your specific needs. Call us today at 281-356-9955 and let us go to work for you. Patricia Cooper Insurance, where our customers are treated like family.
Have a legal question? Are you a resident of Montgomery County? Call 281-645-6344 to talk to a volunteer attorney from the Woodlands Bar Association. We answer the phones on the first Monday of every month at 281-645-6344 from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. to provide general legal information and information about legal resources to Montgomery County residents.
Hello, I'm Bonita DeRosa, Animal Control Officer for the City of Willis. We invite you to tune in to Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. for the Willis Hour. On the first Thursday of the month, the Willis Hour will be covering upcoming events and news about the city. Join in the conversation with your city officials and other leaders in the community. On the third, we will be doing a recap of the last City Council meeting. The mission of the City of Willis is to provide high-quality services, accountability, and professional commitment to our citizens. We pledge to provide those who live, work, and visit our city an effective government that is open and responsive to the needs and values of the community. Again, we invite you to tune in on Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 for the Willis Hour.
This is Rick Schisler, your Silver Fox advisor and host of the Weekly Business Hour, and I appreciate you listening to the show Today, I think we've had a good show, and I want to finish it out on a good note. I want to talk about what does your business offer? What is it that your business offers, and how do you offer it? And I'm going to come at this from a little bit different angle because it's what your business is offering, and is it really working? And what does it offer to the public in general? And I don't want to get too far out, but I read an article recently that made me kind of wonder and start thinking about business, and especially small businesses like the ones I think you're probably in, and some of the threats and challenges that come at us. And this is what led me to conclude that we need to think about what our business is offering, because if we don't, one, we can get caught, I will say lightly, with our pants down. Two, if nothing else, it can bring a burden to us that if we do a little bit of planning, and I don't want to run that in the ground today, but if we do a little bit of planning and thinking, we can stay out ahead of things. Article published in the Wall Street Journal recently, it was entitled "Free Shipping Crowds Out Small Retailers," written by Laura Stevens. It was updated on April 27th. And I picked this up and I started thinking and went through this. And we all know about the topic of online shipping, free shipping. I mean, everybody's had to heard Amazon Prime. You pay $99 a year and you get free 2-day shipping. Free. Well, it's not really free, is it? You paid $99. So you better buy enough stuff to cover what you would have paid if you didn't have the free shipping. But, I mean, they've done a wonderful marketing program with this, and I'll touch on some numbers to kind of give you a sense of what big businesses do and the advantages they have, for example, in this area of free shipping. But what's happened is now your customers, your clients, if you sell a product and if you ship it, they want free shipping. I mean, it's changed the paradigm of doing business. And again, I'm just focusing on a tiny segment. This applies to a lot of different things in our business life, in our big business world. It could have to do with delivery. It could have to do with on-time service delivery. There are all kinds of areas out there that larger businesses every day are looking for ways that really challenge us in small business. And if we're not careful, we can get crowded out, like the title of this article says. Free shipping crowds out small retailers. So what they've done is they've changed in the area of shipping. Amazon and its other large competitors have changed the whole paradigm of shipping. They built it into the product's price tag. There's no doubt about it. I've had more than one person tell me, well, you can find a product on Amazon, but you could get it elsewhere cheaper. Well, that's a matter of shopping. That's true with grocery stores, hardware stores, any kind of store. But the idea is now they've got people joining as members and paying in advance for shipping. And I know they offer other services. But again, they've gotten people to buy into this. And if you're in a business that ships, I think you need to be concerned about this. Don't think you need to wring your hands, but you need to decide what it is that you need to do to meet this so that you don't lose business. And we'll talk about that quickly. But let me give you some numbers. More than half the past year's orders for consumers from the 30 of the biggest e-commerce merchants were shipped free of charge. That's up from 33% just 2 years ago. So this phenomenon is rolling. It's moving. It has definitely become the loss leader. Every industry, grocery business jumps to mind first, has loss leaders in products and services. So shipping has become that. It's interesting how far it goes. 34% of 2,000 consumers polled recently by Bloomreach Inc. said they started their online search on search engines like Google. Makes sense. But 44% began in Amazon. That's up from 30% in 2012, just 3-4 years ago. So people are going to Amazon before they even go to Google. I mean, this is a powerful story that's happening. And this makes it tougher for marketplace for startups and small businesses. And again, this paradigm can stretch into many areas of businesses, not just in the shipping. But I think this story, because it's been well documented and there's lots of statistical information out there, it's available. And the bottom line is these large companies, they get discounts. In the case of shipping, I was reading this article, they can get discounts up to 70% over what you or I in a small business might be able to get. I mean, it's amazing, 70%. We might get 5%. So they have a huge advantage in the actual cost of the shipping. And this is something that we have to deal with in our businesses. It's very important. The bottom line is Amazon, it's estimated, spends $4 to $5 on average per package to ship it versus $7 to $8 that you and I would spend for a ground shipment. So they basically got a 50%, 100%, depending on how you want to look at the number. But they do it for half of what we do. And some of that's due to the efficiencies. Obviously, they have spent millions and millions of dollars, billions. In fact, they just recently started making a profit consistently, but they invested in infrastructure. They wanted to take over, arguably, the shipping market for consumer goods. I mean, if you want to look at it that way, but take over the market for the types of goods that they offer and sell. So it's very interesting that a large business can do that. Again, my encouragement is, what is your business offer? You need to look at it. You need to look, is there a threat that's outside that's happening that you may not pay attention to? Delivery service. I mean, large companies are delivering groceries now, and more people, particularly in urban areas, are buying into this. They're buying their groceries, having them delivered. They're not going to the stores and shopping for their goods, at least not on a regular basis. Now, maybe this is just a small trend. It was tried 15, 20 years ago and failed, but it seems to be gaining some traction. It's just interesting. And there are other things, services and whatnot, that are being offered. So look at your business offer and make sure that what you're offering to entice new prospects and entice existing clients to stay with you is really competitive with the marketplace you're located in. And look at the big businesses that might threaten your market and see what they're doing. It's very important that you be competitive, not just with your small competitors, but also with the big guys who may creep into your segment, into your market segment, and start to compete with the small business. And a lot of times, unfortunately, you don't even realize it's happening until perhaps it's too late. Well, that's my thought for the day, Silver Fox thought for the week. I hope that's helpful to you. Larry Page, co-founder of Google, I think made an interesting comment some years ago. He says, always deliver more than expected. And that's true for every business I've ever known in my life. Every day, we should seek to deliver more than it's expected, both to our clients, but also to our employees, and even to our vendors. I encourage you to visit our website at irlonestar.com to stay up on everything that's happening in Montgomery County. And as we close the show today, I want to give a big Lone Star thanks to our sponsors, Patricia Cooper Insurance Company, Schooley Mitchell and Taylorized PR, and the Silver Fox Advisors. Please put a note on your calendar to join us again next Monday, right here on irlonestar.com at 11 a.m. And until then, I encourage you, stay engaged this week and keep your focus on what counts in your business. Thank you.
Thanks for checking out this production of Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star Community Radio, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, TV, media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production produced by the show host and Dick Schischler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schischler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.